for later and for anybody who wasn't able to make this session. And let's get started with our presentations. So just a few notes, presenters, please do. I know it is so hard because you all do wonderful work and we all are passionate about the work that we do, but please do try to keep your presentation to 3 to 5 minutes, just so we can get through everybody. And Master Gardener class, please do save your questions for the end. We'll have a chance to ask questions of everybody at the end, or write them in the chat too. And then maybe people, when they're not presenting, could get back to the questions that are written in the chat. And just another thank you all for being here on this rainy Wednesday evening. And presenters, I don't know if you all saw, they're in kind of a random order, just whoever put the presentation in when. So just a note on that as well. But yeah, first about Department of Parks and Recs communal farms. I don't think Josh was able to come here. Josh, are you here? I don't think I saw him enter. No, so I'll just mention briefly, Parks and Rec have some wonderful communal farms, which means they're not like individual plots, but people work on them collectively. And there are 3 different sites. You see them listed here. Ward 7, Ward 5, and Ward 1. There are so many opportunities to help grow at these sites. There are a lot of experienced gardeners who are involved, so it's a way to keep learning more too. And I think all of the food is given away, so you can also be a part of these veggie giveaways. So they donate all this wonderful food to people in the community. So you can either email Josh, but also on DPR's website, you can find out more information about specific times when you can volunteer there, because they might have changed a little bit this season. So that's a little bit about the communal farms. Hillwood, I think Drew, is Drew here? I don't think Drew was able to come either. Hillwood, I think they're not accepting new volunteers right now, but this could be in the future. I think maybe he said next fall, they'll be accepting new volunteers again. So just to keep on your radar come fall, if you live close to Hillwood and this is a place you would like to volunteer, this will be coming up, not right now, but in the future. And up next, Sixth Church Garden. And I think Sharon is here with us. Sharon, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Allie. I met a few folks just now in the icebreaker. My name is Sharon LaValle. I am a master gardener here. And the story of the Sixth Church Garden, which is located in Ward 4, started out as community gardens were donating food to a local food pantry. And then when they realized that people started gardening in their community gardens again, they said, well, we've got land and we'd love to keep getting this produce coming to the food pantry. And with some seed money from Master Gardeners last year, really helped advance this wonderful vegetable garden that we have. It's again located in Ward 4 on 16th Street, like 16th and Kennedy Northwest, across from Rock Creek Park. It's actually a beautiful setting, cradled by Eric B. murals in Rock Creek Park. It's a really lovely place to be, still very urban feeling. So it's a vegetable garden. The food goes to the food pantry, but there's also a native pollinator garden, and there's a beloved oak tree, which we have helped live a good life. And volunteers work on all of it. That's one thing we've discovered. This started small, but keeps growing. The people who come do the work, do everything from weeding, invasive removal, I should add that, work in the veg beds, work in the pollinator gardens. This coming year, we're gonna have a rain garden added on the 16th Street side, which is also another DC grant that the Sixth Church property got. So there's a lot of different stuff to do there. It's a lovely place to be. And we're very flexible about times. We've had 1-month-olds come and be in the garden with their dad. Their dad was a UDC graduate student. We've had teenagers come work with their moms and actually do work and not just be entertainment for the rest of us. But it's community members, UDC people, master gardeners, And out of town interns looking for service hours at the moment. It's really a community of everyone who can come and spend some time. We usually target 2 hours. It's often on Thursday mornings and then another day on the weekend. But we're kind of moving to a mode where send me at sixchurchgarden@gmail.com, send an email, get on the list, and then I'm going to start sending weekly emails that say, hey, we're meeting these times, these days. You can also get back to me and say when you can come. So come visit, come volunteer. We'd love to have you be there. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Sharon. Wonderful. We'll keep going. So if you have questions for Sharon, put them in the chat or we can ask them at the end. And Marvin Gaye is up next and Tim is here. Go ahead, take it away, Tim.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? Cool. So I've been working at the Marvin Gaye Greening Center. I started off as UDC gardening program. I started in 2021 and I started volunteering down here at the Marvin Gaye Greening Center. And a year later, I got hired as the farm manager. I was volunteering, helping out with the shrubs and blackberries and strawberries, you know, making them more. So we also have volunteers too. Let's see. So every Saturday, every Wednesday and Saturday, we have our volunteers from 9 to 2, from 10 to 2. And then, let's see. We also have a farmer's market too. We do that on every Saturday. It's from 12 to, I'll say for like 12 to 2. Through May through October. It's a cool place. So what we've been doing, we've been prepping up beds and sowing seeds. We're transplanting seeds. We've got a lot of watering, weeding, harvest, mulch, veggie giveaways. And then we also tend compost too. We have our own compost bin. And so our work days, we do, like I said, we do Wednesday and Saturdays from 10 to 2. Those are our volunteer days. So if you want to get on the list, you can contact Barbara Paulson at barbarapaulson@gmail.com, or you can contact me, Tim, at timbranch33@gmail.com. And you can sign up for our volunteer shifts at the tinyurl.com. It's the https tinyurl.com.
And I'll have that link available to everybody
okay.
too.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't get that. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, you can come down and volunteer. We'd be glad to have you because we're always looking for volunteers. So like I said, I started off doing the Master Gardens program myself in 2021. And now I work there permanently. So it's a cool place, man. It's a peace of mind. I love it. But we definitely would like to have you over on Ward 7. You know? And just recently I came up with the idea was I want to play music while we doing out there, you know, volunteering. So it's fun. So yeah, we'd be glad to have you. The Marvin Gaye Greening Center is 5000 Nellie Helen Burroughs Avenue, Northeast. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Tim. So if
Yeah,
you have
no
any
problem.
questions for Tim, put them in the chat, or we'll ask them at the end. And I don't think Savannah was able to come to this session. Savannah, are you here? No, she's also a master gardener. So I'll have this slide. She leads a water quality monitoring program. So I'll have this slide in the presentation for you all to see if this is something that you're interested in getting involved with. And great. And Yasmin wasn't able to come, but Yasmin is a colleague of ours at UDC. And she she's part of the youth development program within the Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience. And she has some upcoming volunteer opportunities with the programs that she works with. So one is the Green Zone Environmental Program, which is a summer youth employment opportunity for high school students to gain education and career development in energy and environmental sciences. And this will be at Bertie Bacchus every Monday throughout July. So July 3rd through July 31st from 9:30 to 3:30. And so volunteers would be helping these high school students with different tasks in the greenhouse at the Bertie Bacchus Food Hub. And we also, and I think some of you all participated in the training about this watershed model, but they're called Enviroscapes, and they're a portable, interactive environmental education model that demonstrates water pollution and prevention through shared responsibilities. So this is a great model that we're hoping to get more master gardeners and master naturalists comfortable with so that we can lead demonstrations and really teach people about how watersheds work and ways that we can help protect and keep our watersheds clean. So and Yasmin is helping with a coordination of these Enviroscape models. So if this is something you're interested in, you can also reach out to Yasmin about it. And she just wanted to give a note that since she's often working with students, that you also need a DCPS background check. So there's like an additional clearance that you got a background check as to be a master gardener, but to work with young people, there's an additional background check that's required. So just wanted to let you all know that. But we can help you through that process. We've gone through it a few times, so UDC can help with that. And if any of these programs interest you, reach out to Yasmin. And here is her contact information. And I don't know if I said this yet, I will be sharing this PowerPoint with everybody. So don't worry, you will have all this information and all this contact information if you want to, for when you want to reach out to any of these people. Great. And I also wanted to put in a big plug for master gardeners leading some beds and having demonstration beds at the different food hubs. So we see this as a way that master gardeners can really teach the public about different gardening strategies. So there is opportunity at Bertie Bacchus, Van Ness, and at East Capitol and at PR Harris to do this. So be in touch with me. I'll most likely connect you with the different site leaders, some of which are on this call. I'll connect you with the site leaders and we can help make that happen. So it's a way that we can really demonstrate different sustainable gardening practices at our food hubs and help teach the public in that way. And up next is Grow DC, and Beth Beers is on the line. Go ahead, Beth, take it away.
Yeah, hi, Allie. Thanks so much, and hi to everybody. I'm here with Kate McClinn, who's also on the Grow DC sort of organizational committee with me. Grow DC is a UDC Master Gardener project that started a couple of years ago to connect Master Gardener volunteers to existing DC public school and public charter school gardens. So we work closely with, or we work with the awareness of OSSI, the DC Public School Garden Office, pairing master gardeners to provide their skills, knowledge, energy to support school garden coordinators in 10 DC public schools throughout the city. We've got I think the next slide shows, can I move this? Yeah, there we go. The next slide shows we've got schools in each of the 8 wards and a couple of schools in 7 and 8. We've now gone through 3 growing seasons as part of our pilot. Again, putting Master Gardener volunteers with school garden coordinators in each of these 10 schools. And so as we sort of move forward through the summer into the next fall season, we're starting to have conversations about, do we add schools? Do we change schools? Are these the right schools? but definitely our goal is to be represented throughout the city, in public schools, elementary, middle, and high schools, in each of the 8 wards. We also, as part of the Grow DC pilot, are partnered with UDC's 4-H program, and we provide seedlings to all DC public schools. So our efforts aren't limited to putting Master Gardener mentors or consultants in these 10 schools. We also have a seedling project. And here's a slide that demonstrates that. This year in the early spring and later through the spring, we grew seedlings at each of UDC's food hubs. We were at East Cap, we were at Van Ness, and we were over at Bertie Bacchus. And we grew early spring crops, basically brassicas, I would say. And then a few later spring crops, things that could go into school gardens at the end of the school year, as well as perennials, including flowers and strawberries and just a whole variety of plants you can see in the slides, that there were then offered to schools throughout the city, through the offices of the superintendent of schools. And you can see down there, we had teachers and school garden coordinators come and pick up seedlings that they took back then and worked with their students to sort of get in the ground and get growing. So that's, we'll start that up again to give schools an opportunity to get additional seedlings and perennials in the fall when they come back to school. I know Kate's been working even today on some fig tree cuttings and willows, and there was something else that she had up her sleeve, additional fall perennials that we can offer to the schools when they get back in session.
Well, I would just like to say it's a great group to work with. We'd love to have volunteers. We're putting together a number of workshops on how this might work with your group, because we're inspired by our teachers, our garden coordinators that we've been working with, about the kind of things that one person doesn't need to go on the journey of learning alone. They can have master gardeners there, bringing in, experimenting, filling the needs of each school as needed for that school rather than from a template. But we use templates too, because you don't have to invent everything from scratch. But we have some hugelkultur beds for our demonstration gardens and at Bertie Bacchus, and it's been lots of fun. But yes, today I was potting up asparagus that we started from seeds with the idea of having a lot of perennials. And did you know, fun fact, that hostas are edible? So we'll probably be giving hostas to our schools. Hope everyone will. Yeah, they really are. Just like in the springtime, you can just saute them. Yeah, and they're good and easy to grow. So I hope to hear from you. We all hope to hear from you and hope to see you at one of the centers.
I think our contact information is here on the last slide. In terms of volunteer opportunities, we're trying to staff up the Grow DC committee, which it currently is the 3 of us, Kate, myself, and Lauren, who couldn't be with us tonight. If you're interested in sort of being involved in developing the program from its pilot into sort of its next phase, we would love to have folks join us on the committee. We would also love to offer additional master gardeners to one of our schools that we're supporting. And the seedling project is really volunteer intensive. So we need folks to help us plant the seedlings, maintain the seedlings, and we can do that at any of the 3 food hubs. So lots of opportunities for volunteers who want to be involved.
Great. Thank you, Beth and Kate, so much. And I just want to mention too that Kate's helping us as well with workshops, like leading workshops both for schools, but also at libraries and at the food hubs too. And I know some of you all, we're going to have a workshop and planning session soon for master gardeners to get organized around this so that we can really help share sustainable gardening practices with the public in different community spaces. So thank you so much, Grow DC. And Garden Club is up next. I don't think Mary Beth is here. No, but I'll speak briefly to this. So the Garden Club is a volunteer group at UDC Van Ness campus. So they grow a lot of seedlings in the greenhouse, and they maintain some garden beds on campus. And they're often volunteer sessions are often Friday and Saturday mornings. So if you are interested, you can get involved, and their email address is down here to reach out to them. Here's some pictures of the Garden Club. Great. I don't think Mary's here either. But Peabody School Garden has a very active community of gardeners. And I know they were actively seeking out new gardeners to join. And it's listed on the Master Gardener website too. So if this location makes sense for you, you can reach out to Mary, and more information on the Master Gardener website too. Great. And up next is the Washington Youth Garden with Emmy. Wait, actually, sorry, Emmy, hold on one second. I promised Ibti, who could only step in, she's stepping out from something. I promised Ibti that she could share briefly because she has to run back to something real quick. So
Thank you.
Ibti, take it away, and then sorry, we'll get right back to you, Emmy.
Cool. Well, thank you all for inviting me back. I know the Master Gardeners at UDC have a special place in my heart as a community. It's a really great program, and I definitely, if folks are interested in sort of the education piece or working with younger people on sort of garden and sort of the related nutrition piece, Foodprints might be a great place to come and volunteer one time, or if you really want to have a kind of build relationships over time with the school community, we welcome weekly volunteers to come and support classes that are a mix of garden and kitchen classroom based activities. We work with kids at 21 DC public elementary schools in, I don't think we have any schools in Ward 3, but the other 7 wards around the city have Foodprints programs. And I personally teach at a school that is in a swing space this year near Howard University, but I maintain the garden there and also the big garden in Foggy Bottom that a handful of folks on the call have been to. It's pretty awesome. And definitely I welcome helpers. I'm the volunteer or service learning manager, I guess is my official title. So I work with folks that are interning with us, volunteering in the gardens and in classes. So if you are interested in being part of a garden club, that would be kind of upper elementary and middle school age students, definitely reach out to me. I have my email address here on the slide. I do roughly once a week through the main growing season open garden hours at the N Street Garden, which is the one in Foggy Bottom. And I try to do it kind of later in the afternoon when it's a little cooler. But if it's rainy, we might switch to a different day of the week, depending on the week. And if you're interested in helping in classes, which I think is really fun, you need to work on your DCPS clearance, which I'm happy to talk people through that process, either in a phone call or by email. It's not hard and it's free, but it is definitely required if you're working with kids in DC public schools. I don't know if other presenters have already mentioned clearances, but that's something that you would need for the garden club or working in classes. That is not something that you need for garden maintenance. But it's just super useful to have. But I guess the big take home message is like, we welcome folks interested in supporting gardens. But if you also want to sort of dip your toe into the food education piece, Foodprints is a great way to just explore that as a something to do as a volunteer, or even we've had a couple of people come to volunteer that wound up sort of shifting their careers and loved it so much that we might change your life course there. So just, you've been forewarned. It's a lot of fun and you might get pulled in. Oh, thanks, Kate.
Thank you, Ibti, for running out of your other obligation and joining us for a little bit. Let's pick up with Emmy and the Washington Youth Garden.
Thank you, Ali. Yes, I'm Emmy or Amelia. I go by both. And I'm one of the garden managers at the Washington Youth Garden. And the Washington Youth Garden is run by Friends of the National Arboretum, which is the National Arboretum sister nonprofit organization. We're located in Northeast DC, so Ward 5. And so when you enter the Arboretum, we're a 1 acre demonstration garden just past the Capitol columns, if you've ever gone to the National Arboretum before. And basically we do lots of things. We have youth programs, we have community events, and we do our volunteer sessions every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from April to November. I forgot to write that down on the slide, but it's during the growing season here in DC. And each drop-in session is from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And basically you just sign up through the links on the next slide. But once you sign up, you'll receive our emails and you can just literally drop in anytime during those days and times in the growing season. And basically we do lots of fun things like weeding, planting, bed prep, especially in spring and fall with no-till sustainable gardening methods. And we try and do lots of different sustainable practices in the garden as well. So if you're interested in that, we would love to have you. And like I referred to before, we're a youth garden. So we do lots of lessons and events with children, including volunteer and garden work. So there was a question earlier about bringing your little one to do volunteer work. And so we encourage that. And everything we grow in our demonstration garden is used for our programming and for events, including a weekly produce distribution to our partner schools. So all of our food that we grow in that space gets directly distributed to our community members. Right now we have partnerships with 11 DCPS schools. And so, yeah, it's a great time. So that's another thing if you're interested in harvesting and getting to know that process. So literally from getting it from the ground and washing it and preparing it and bundling it for distribution, all the way to getting your hands dirty and learning how to plant, mulch, like sheet mulching. We do a lot of at the garden. Yeah, can you go back to Ali to the first slide? Sorry, I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah, and if you want some more information, the website is there and some contact information. But yeah, if you follow those links, or you can scan that QR code. Basically, if you go back again, Ali, sorry for back and forth. So if the two different links here, I'll just quickly explain the garden volunteering as an individual. So anyone here, you can just sign up your individual self if you're interested in any of those drop-in volunteering opportunities. But we also offer gardening or garden volunteering as a group. So if UDC Master Gardeners, like if you all wanted to come together as a big group and do that and like bond together and learn together, we also offer that. And so that's what that different link is there for. And yeah, follow us on Washington Youth Garden's Instagram, so Wash Youth Garden or FONA Arboretum, for lots of fun videos and pictures. And yeah, I can't wait to meet all of you in person. Hopefully you come and garden with us.
Great. Thank you so much, Emmy, for sharing. Let's see, continuing, moving along. We have Share a Seed, and Rihanna wasn't able to make it. But Share a Seed is a mutual aid group where they get seeds, they get free seeds, people give seeds, extra seeds that they have, and they give them away. They go to different events. They have at the food hubs, we have like free seed libraries that they built and put in place. So they're like the little libraries, but for seeds instead. So if you have extra seeds, you can always drop them off at one of the food hubs in one of these food libraries so that people can use the excess that you had. So yep, what did she say? So Share Seed is a mutual aid program that leverages the power of community to fill resource gaps and help our neighbors get growing. So growers and gardeners share their spares, seeds, garden equipment too, compost. I didn't know they did that as well. And Share Seed helps redistribute those resources throughout the DMV. Share Seed connects to community through seed shares, skill building events, and through the coordination of garden-based volunteerism. So if you're interested in getting involved, here's one of the seed libraries you see at the top. If you're interested in getting involved, reach out to Rihanna, and she'll help get you plugged in to Share Seed. Great, and up next is Benny.
Hello,
Go ahead.
everyone. Great. My name is Biniam Woody. You can call me Benny. I work for Department of Energy and Environment. I work within the restoration branch. Within the restoration branch, there are multiple programs, and I work for River Smart Homes program. The goal of the River Smart Homes program is to reduce stormwater runoff that are coming out of private properties. And with that, we also have a volunteer opportunity where we're trying to create more awareness in the community by placing these storm drain markings. So recently, I have been able to manage this program, the storm drain marking, and the goal is basically to create awareness within our community, our youth, schools, churches, any individual or groups that can volunteer and be able to participate in this program. So storm drains, I'm sure you've seen storm drains in almost every corner of our blocks, and sometimes you might see, if you go to the next slide, Allie. So you might see one of those tags on or markings on the sewer metal or cast iron metal there. And the goal is basically when people walk past it, so they know not to litter or properly dispose their litters, and also avoid any potential pollutions that could potentially contribute from their households, or if they're parking and then working on their car, or something like oil leaks and other pollutants that can ultimately be washed off of by the rain and ultimately end up in these storm drains, which basically collects all the storms, and ultimately they end up in our river and our watershed of and if I could mention bigger body, ultimately the Chesapeake Bay. So a storm drain is there to help create awareness and just remind people that we're meant to take care of our waterways. And We have active volunteer program, and we accept be it individual or groups such as yourself, which would be a perfect ambassador for this program, because you're already working in the green field and beautifying and saving our planet. So this would be a great opportunity in your community or by yourself to be able to tag some of these drains that could be marked or not marked, or some of them could just be old or missing. So that's the storm drain program, and the way you can contact us or volunteer for this program. One, you could, I'm going to share this in the chat room. You can go to Department of Energy and Environment, and within the programs, you'll find the storm drain marking. And that's one way that you could be able to communicate with us, or directly you can email me or my colleague, Brandon, which I mentioned in the chat room. I just shared a little file for contact information. So yeah, I would love to hear from anyone, work with everyone, and handing you these products that I have, so you could do you can have your own group and be able to mark, or by yourself, and we go from there. And I thank you so much for this opportunity and being part of it. I feel like from all the presentations and then mine, it sounds almost off topic, but I feel like water connects us all. So the clear water that we have, ultimately the better water, especially if you're using tap water for your gardening, and the less chemicals that go into purification of that water, the more it's good and beneficial for your plants. And so, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Benny. And yeah, for sure. It's so connected, water and gardening and life. And in our water management class, Ariel talked a lot about the Chesapeake Bay and how agriculture is one of the key reasons why it is polluted. So being gardeners, having that understanding and awareness, and trying to make repairs, I think makes a lot of sense. So thank you for being here and for your presentation. We'll have time for questions at the end. Great. And Dr. Harris is up next. Take it away, Dr. Harris.
Hello, everyone, again. I'm just really excited about everything I've heard, and I appreciated everyone. And I am with the PR Harris Urban Food Hub Community Garden, which is located at 4600. Well, not at 4600, but down from the school. The school is there, and we're like down the hill. If you look at that slide, you can see it's kind of going down a hill. We have the two aquaponic hubs there that are managed by Mr. Womack, Henry Womack. And we also have those raised plant beds that you see. We have 14 raised plant beds. And what we're doing right now, what the part that I play in this is we're wanting to get the community residents, active participants in coming in and using the plant beds to grow and to be able to use what they grow. And so that's primarily what our goal is right now. And we do have, it's been growing. We've had some setbacks, but it's continuing to grow. I purposely took pictures of what we grew. We planted some kale and collards, tomatoes, amaranth, and different things. Oh, this was a picture, but we planted that in May. And some of the plants kind of, I showed this one, it kind of bolted, and we were kind of surprised by that. So we needed to get help in, selecting what are the best plants for a particular season, how to best plant them, the placement, harvesting. We need a lot to learn. Everybody is coming in at different levels, but we would welcome having the gardeners come, master gardeners come in and just give us different presentation on just basic gardening practices. So that is why I showed those pictures of what we have grown. Mr. Womack Henry, he also took plants from he's doing the soilless gardening. So he took some plants and put them into the soil. So he has that on the farthest end. I really didn't show pictures of that. I was just showing pictures of what the community residents had planted. And this is what we had in a little over a month, because we started on May 5th. So we are really just wanting to get that help on basic gardening practices and build from there. And we wanted to be able to grow as throughout the year of different things that we could be doing throughout the year, so that we could have a continuous use of our beds and a continuous use of what we are learning. So this is what the photos show. That's two of our gardeners. This was a picture we had. Howard University during their spring break came and they helped us to put the soil into our beds to build our beds up. So we were putting the filling up the beds and helping to weed out the beds. We weeded out, I'm sorry, I'm getting before myself here, but we weeded it out and then we cleared them and then we added more soil to all of the beds. So that's a photo of all of them that came and volunteered to help us. And we had a really great time in having them there and having them to help us to fill up the beds. So that the email you see there is the email right now for reaching us. We meet Wednesday evenings at 5:30 and Saturday mornings at 10. And we usually meet for about 2 hours. It's usually longer, but I try not, we try to keep people interested and consistently coming. So thank you so much for listening to me. I've enjoyed hearing everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. And great, with that, that was all of the presentation. So we have a few minutes for any questions that came up. So feel free to come off mute or raise your hand or write your questions in the chat if you have a question for any of our presenters.
Ellie, did you want me, it's Michelle. Did you want me to give a short talk?
Great, thank you. Yes, please. Okay, yes, sorry. Before we get to questions, I forgot, I want to give Michelle a chance to share too. So let me stop sharing for a second. Go ahead, Michelle. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's totally fine. Thank you very much. Let's just see. So, Ally, can you see the Golden Volunteer page? Okay, thanks.
Yep.
So, thank you for the opportunity, Ally. I'm Michelle Bassler. I'm the volunteer coordinator for Causes. And earlier in the chat, I put my name and my contact information. I can put it again, but hopefully you can scroll back and see it in the chat. I also put the link to our landing page in Golden Volunteer. Golden Volunteer is our volunteer management system. And after the break, I'm going to be leading a breakout room just to demo some of the basic ways to work in Golden Volunteer, to sign up for opportunities, log your hours and things like that. So I'll be talking more about Golden Volunteer if you're interested in that breakout room. But I wanted to show it right here, show you this page right here, because I wanted to let everyone know. And by the way, I'm just so excited about all these opportunities that the Master Gardeners have. And I just really am very impressed with all the presenters. But I wanted to let you know that there are opportunities with Causes as well. And I do know that some of your volunteer hours need to be with Causes sponsored programs and events. So when you log into Golden Volunteer, if you click on this find opportunities, you'll see other opportunities here. So there are opportunities at Firebird Farm. There are opportunities at East Capitol Urban Farm. And there are also, you'll see opportunities that don't look like they apply. Oh, by the way, so Grow to See that Beth and Kate talked about earlier has its own log for hours, but you'll see opportunities that may not seem like that they are connected with Master Gardening. However, we have some 4-H staff here in Causes that do programs with nutrition, healthy food, and preparing food that are definitely, Ally has told me that they're definitely approved for Master Gardener hours. So there are lots of different opportunities, and I suggest that you keep checking in. And because we're constantly adding new things, adding new opportunities, if you are not sure, the opportunities should state that they're approved for Master Gardeners, but if you're not sure if something is approved, you can ask me or you can ask Ally. There are sometimes one-day events where you can sign up and just come and volunteer for that one particular time. So there are lots of different opportunities to volunteer to get your service hours through Causes-related events. Ally, is there anything that I've missed? Anything I should add?
No, I think that's great. Thank you for
Okay,
sharing. Thank you, Michelle, for
wonderful.
reminding me.
Sure. And everyone, please feel free to contact me for more information, for help or just general questions. Thank you. And I will stop sharing.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. And now we have time for questions. So I know Andrew had his hand up, so maybe we'll take Andrew and then we'll go from there. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thanks. Ally, you mentioned a demo bed, like learning how to do a demo bed. What does that mean? Can you explain what that is a little bit?
Yeah, good question. So the idea is to have demonstration garden beds that are managed by Master Gardeners as a way to kind of showcase different gardening practices. So like we could have a garden bed that shows the Three Sisters, or we could have garden beds that show different cover crops, or we could have garden beds that show other good companion planting methods. And to use as an educational tool. So it'll depend on the site, like which food hub you're doing the demonstration garden at, or the demonstration garden bed at. but it's something we're hoping to build that's not like super established at the moment, but we would, if master gardeners are interested, and Kate has started doing that, some at Birdie Bacchus, like demonstrating different gardening practices there. Was that helpful, Andrew?
Yeah, so like doing like IPM or like, and it's just thinking about some of the stuff that we learned here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we can make signs and have them in the beds to just like teach people who are coming to the garden about some of these sustainable practices. Exactly. Good question. Thank you. Other questions for any of the presenters?
Allie, I had a quick question. So I remember one of the first slides was of Hillwood Estates, and that wouldn't count towards our causes volunteer hours, right? Or is it? To me, I thought that was like a private institution. Anyway, so over to you.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so all of the presenters, all of these organizations, these volunteering for them would count for your volunteer hours. There are 15 of your volunteer hours are supposed to be for Master Gardener programs or something connected to extension. But then 25 hours can be for other organizations, other gardening projects. So Hillwood is included, even though like some of the organizations are like private organizations, but they're still like public facing gardening projects. So Hillwood would still count. And you can, and I thank you, Penny. And I recommend too, like you can, and we'll talk about this more after the break, is think about like how you would like to grow your gardening skills and in what ways you would like to give back, and then find, and you can piece together and do different things too, to make it work for you. And I hope did that answer your question, Jessie?
Yeah, no, I think because in my mind it was like a fancy private place, so that which fancy private places can be public facing too. And so anyway, I think that was the link I wasn't sure about. So yeah, thanks.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. I think volunteer for an organization too that will feel good for you and make sense for you. Yeah.
I had a question. So, and I love all the opportunities that are out there with growing crops and produce. Are any of the opportunities also involved with like ornamental gardening?
Good question.
Or ecological gardening, which can be.
Yeah, I can say, and there's some projects and people who aren't here on the call, but that you could also get connected to. Like there's another master gardener who does pollinator gardens in Ward 3. So those are all like native plants.
Yeah.
Some of the food hubs grow native plants, and please, any of the presenters who are doing ornamentals as well as food, please. I see Sharon's hand up. Go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, I think most all of the gardens that I heard present and had slides today, and that includes the Sixth Church Garden. They're all aimed to be environmentally sustainable gardens. Ours is an organic garden. It's paired up with a pollinator garden that, of course, works together with the vegetable garden. So the intention is pretty much all of these gardens should be incorporating the practices we learned in basic Master Gardener training. But I'd also say that there's some, if you have specific interests, for example, Josh Singer was the guy who taught urban farming when I first started learning about it, before I was a Master Gardener even. So a lot of the people leading these projects have fabulous knowledge that you can really learn a lot from in these organizations. I'm going a little bit too far afield here, but pretty much all these gardens are about organic practices and sustainability and being connected to the community's environment.
Awesome. Thank you.
Kate, did you have your hand up too? Thank you, Sharon. Kate, did you want to say something as well? Here, unmute yourself first.
There we go. I wanted to add to those great comments that some of the demonstration gardens are showing symbiotic relationships, and they are showing that food crops can be incorporated with natives and can also be ornamental. So trying to make it really suitable and for urban environments by not taking up a lot of space, but by having beauty, plants for the pollinators, and food for ourselves, and also regenerating. So I thank you for mentioning the demonstration beds, because we do have a few ongoing, and we've got a hugelkultur workshop in the works, which actually we have the beds all set up. All we need to do is just do it.
Well, thank you for that question, Roger. Good question. And I know several, like Beth and Emmy, also commented that their gardens too, and school gardens, also have pollinator and more like ornamental spaces as well. Yeah. We maybe could take one more question before we go to a break and say goodbye and thank you to our presenters.
Well, I'll say thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry for jumping in.
Oh, no, please jump.
I really enjoyed this presentation, and I look forward to upcoming presentations, and of course, working closely with the Master Gardeners. So feel free, please, to reach out to me, and I definitely look forward to working with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benny. You're wrapping us up on a great note. Thank you. Please put in the chat, Master Gardeners, or come off mute. Let's shout out some appreciation to our presenters. And then we'll take a break and we'll come back. Master Gardeners will come back at 7. We'll take 10 minutes. So we'll come back at 7:25. But let's shout out some appreciation first.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Hot chocolate time.
Oh, great. All right, I will see. Thank you, presenters. I will see Master Gardeners back. 7:25. I'll pull up a slide as a reminder. See you soon. Great. So this next section of the class is going to be going over the next steps of the Master Gardener program. So if you have any questions about this too, it'll also be an opportunity to ask those questions as well. So you might remember this timeline image from way back when, before you had started the program. But step 1, which you all have almost completed by 9 o'clock, you will have completed the basic training course, which is from March till June, which you all are in right now. And then step 2 is the exam, and that'll be opened on Moodle starting tomorrow. So you can take the exam tomorrow, but it'll be open until July 16th. So that's step 2, is taking and passing the exam. Step 3 is 40 volunteer hours, and I'll go through in more detail what those volunteer hours can look like. And you'll have a year to complete those volunteer hours for certification. So this first year, you have the most volunteer, most experiential learning hour requirement. And then once you complete those 40 hours, you get your certificate. Yay! You get your Master Gardener certificate, you get a t-shirt, and you get a name badge that says like Master Gardener on it, as well as your name. So this way, when you're teaching others about gardening, when you're leading different garden projects, people can identify, like, know that you're a Master Gardener, know that you've studied this, just connect you to the program, to this national network. And then once you get your certificate, to continue being considered an active Master Gardener, it's less hours that's required. So it's 20 hours, 20 volunteer hours per year, and then 10 continuing education hours. So the volunteer hours are time that you're like teaching, time that you're leading garden projects, time that you're going to Master Gardener meetings, and the continuing education hours are times that you're continuing to learn. Because like someone mentioned at the beginning of the class, like I don't know if you're ever an expert, you're always still learning. So, and there's always new research coming out. So this is a good way to keep us active, keep us in touch with the most current information about sustainable gardening practices. So that is the timeline, kind of the big picture. And then I'm going to go into a little more nitty gritty about the exam and about the volunteer hours. But any question about like this big picture that I can answer? Cindy, good question. Will all the class materials be available through the end of the exam period, or is there some way to continue having access to refer back to afterwards? Yes, my plan, great question, Cindy. Moodle will for sure be available to you through the end of the exam. My goal is to keep it available to you for a while. I think at a certain point, Extension Foundation, who runs the platform, will tell me that I need to close it because I think they have limited capacity. But for right now, I want you all to have access to that information, to those resources. And if at a certain point I am told that I need to close the class in order to make space, I'll give you a heads up about that. But for now, you will have access to that for a while. The previous class still has access. The past few previous classes still have access to that material.
FYI, you can download all the documentation and the recordings.
There you go. There you go too. And the recordings are all on YouTube as well. So those will be accessible to you for forever, for a while. And thank you, Roger, too. Also can download too. Good questions. Other questions about the big picture? Oh, thank you, Andrew. You asked if they save your place. I'm sorry. I don't. Let me write myself a note. I am not sure about that. I'll write myself a note so that I don't forget, because I did. Let's see. Great. Yeah, and here, let's keep moving. I'm seeing questions about the exam. So let's talk about the exam. So you'll have a 3-week window, starting, I listed it, I'll start it tomorrow. Sorry, the last slide was incorrect. It's not currently open. I will open it tomorrow, so June 22nd, be open till July 16th. Once you click to open it, you have 3 hours, a 3-hour window to take it, but shouldn't take that long. It is open book. You can use all the materials, resources that are on Moodle. You will access it through Moodle. The link it'll be at the very bottom past all of the classes, the previous classes. It'll be around 90 multiple choice questions. And to pass the test is a 75%. But if you don't pass it, you will have an opportunity to take it again. So that's some information about the test. Any other questions about the test?
Yes, how many attempts do we get to take the test? And then is there a time period in between, like if you fail it, to retest?
Oh, good question. So far, I haven't had anybody fail the test, so maybe that'll take some stress off. I think, and so I think we'll navigate that if we come to it. I think I won't make it more challenging for whoever that is does that come up. So that's my answer, is if that happens, we'll cross that bridge. Haven't had to cross that bridge yet. Yes, Andrew.
So I was taking the Was it it was the plant pathology class, the quiz last night. And I noticed that there were a couple of questions in there that I didn't really recognize from the presentation, and there wasn't like direct information on the presentation or in the definitions about it. So I just like, are the questions in the exam unique to the exam, or are they from like the past or current presentations that are just like all mixed? You know, I just want to make sure that the content within the exam matches up with stuff what we learned.
Yeah, it should be, yes. And if there was a question on the quiz that wasn't directly covered in class, like let me know so I can make that correction. It should be all the questions should be information that we've covered. There's a chance that things got a little wonky. And if that happens, let me know. Not trying to like make things overly challenging, but there is a chance that could have happened. So let me know and we can sort through that. If there's a question that we didn't cover, I won't, it won't negatively affect your score.
So should we flag, like if we see something in the final exam and we're like, this probably won't happen, but like, we're like, oh my God, this isn't in any of the presentations. Should we flag that question?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, flag, yeah, send me a message to flag it to me. Yeah, in case that happened, and do the best you can on the question and then keep moving. I think don't let it weigh you down. It should be, I try to go through it, but it's for sure possible that I didn't catch something.
I don't want you to go through the whole entire thing. That's 90 questions.
Yeah, but it should be okay, but let me know if something funky comes up.
All right.
Yeah, and I see some questions in the chat about the quizzes. It's not too late to catch up on quizzes for sure. I think the quizzes are a great way to review and get ready for the test as well, and check in about all the different topics we covered. You don't have to take all the quizzes. I would say it's a good way to review, but it's not like a mandatory thing that you need to do to move forward with the course. Great. So let me know if any other questions come up about the test, or send me a message when it opens. If something comes up, you all are going to do great. You are going to do wonderful on it. I know it. Great. And so now we're going to take some time to plan your experiential learning and your volunteer hours. So what we'll do is I have a volunteer plan survey document that you'll complete. And so we'll go into breakout rooms and we'll take some time to sort through that, help each other out with it. We'll have breakout rooms to work on the volunteer planning document, and we'll have a breakout room for Golden support. So Michelle was so kind to stay on here with us. So you have an option that you can either jump into some volunteer planning, or if you're worried about logging your hours on Golden and navigating that platform, you can also connect with Michelle during this time instead. But I want to show you all briefly what this volunteer plan form looks like. So sorry, I apologize. It is a little small, but you'll have access to this in a minute too. But so at the top, I listed some places where you can find opportunities, organizations where you can volunteer. That the Master Gardener website, the weekly Master Gardener newsletter, the Doug newsletter is great, shows opportunities across the DMV, the PowerPoint of the organizations who are just here, and Golden Volunteer that Michelle showed you as well. I also just went through and want to go through this briefly too, because I know it can be a little confusing. So it's 40 total hours that are required to get your certificate, and it's broken down into different chunks. So the first chunk is 15. That's meant for the Master Gardener program or for UDC Food Hub or UDC Extension in some way. So this could be at the Green Roof or the greenhouse at Van Ness, East Capitol Urban Farm, Bertie Backus, PR Harris. Grow DC is a Master Gardener program subcommittee. So it could be through Grow DC. It could be through Master Gardener meetings, Master Gardener outreach events, supporting any internal Master Gardener program work. All of that would count towards those 15 hours. Then the other 25 hours are more open to other projects, other organizations that you're interested in. And I broke this down into even smaller categories where 10 hours don't even require pre-approval. And the website goes into more information about this too, but this could be something smaller, like if your neighborhood's doing a cleanup day, that doesn't need pre-approval, but you can count it towards your hours. If your child's school garden or you're supporting your child's school garden in something, you don't necessarily have to ask me for pre-approval, and it can count towards your hours. The other 15 require pre-approval, but if it's on the website, if it was in this presentation, it's all, and there's a list on the website of a ton of organizations that already have pre-approval. But if you're wondering, send me a message and I can confirm that for you. And yeah, and so the goal is to complete these 40 hours by July of next year. So you have like a full calendar year to complete them. And let me know if you finish your hours before July, let me know, because it's not a system, unfortunately, that updates me right away. So if you're like, I think I finished my hours, check in with me. I'll double check. And if you finished them, yay, I'll make sure to get you your certificate, your t-shirt, and your name badge. But let me know. I will check at the end of the year, but not as much throughout the year. So let me know so I can get you your certificate and everything if you do it ahead of time. And try the best you can to log your hours monthly on Golden as well. Just to keep them updated, helps us know. We're trying to make a map of all the places where Master Gardeners volunteer and do projects throughout the city to help connect Master Gardeners to each other and really show the impact that Master Gardeners are doing across the city. So logging those hours helps us to be in touch with what's going on with all the Master Gardeners. And so the volunteer categories, this is generally like what kind of volunteer work you could be doing. It can be stewardship. This is like ecosystem work, like removing invasive species, helping maintain healthy ecosystems. It could be education, teaching people about sustainable gardening practices. Action-based, where you're actually doing the work, doing the gardening work. It can be outreach and communication. It can be leadership roles. So some people are like in leadership roles of their community garden, and that requires a lot of communication, that requires a lot of time, and that also could count towards your hours. So there's some information just help you get set up to plan how you're going to be spending these hours. And then the rest of the document just walks you through like, what kind of skills do you want to build? What kind of community service do you want to do? And start planning out how you want to use these different hours. If there's any way that I can support you, if I can help connect you to somebody, let me know. And also at the bottom of this form, I ask for your t-shirt size and how you would like your name to be written on your name badge. So this way I can get them ordered and ready for you. So as soon as you get as soon as you complete your hours, you can get your shirt and your badge. So that's the volunteer plan. Any quick questions on that? Any questions about like the volunteer hours or anything?
I had two questions. So I noticed that you have school gardens in the 15 hours. And then you mentioned like helping out in a school garden in the 25 hours. Is there a difference in terms of like the purpose of these two? Like is the first one like casually, or the second one like casually, like you're just pitching in or whatever, and the first one is more under like a formal like gardening committee or something, or like what's the difference?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I would say like if the school is part of the Grow DC network, like which is a Master Gardener sub program, then it can be considered part of like the UDC Master Gardener extension hours. But then if it's something that's more informal, then I would count it as other organization project of your choice. But that is a little bit of a murky area.
So it's so our school, my daughter's school is part of Food Prints, actually, and we have a garden committee to help like maintain that, and also the like food forest that we have. So would that count? I guess I can ask you this separately. Just a side thing is about activism. So like would like doing some advocacy work or like working with your ANC or like stuff like that, would that be counted under maybe the 25 hours or something?
Yeah, I would count that. So if it's something environmental related, I would count it. Send me an email if you're not sure. But yeah, I would count it. And I would say like, so the 15 hours for Food Hub, UDC Extension, Master Gardener program, that's the thing that's fixed, but you could do more hours there, or you could like in terms of the 24 hours, the 15 hours that need pre-approval, 10 that don't require pre-approval. You could do, if you wanted to do all 25 hours at the Washington Youth Garden, you could do that. Like you don't have to do 10 hours at something that's not related to another organization. I'm just trying, the attempt was to create some flexibility for you to do hours that's not necessarily with an organization that's connected to the Master Gardener program. But these are such wonderful questions, but I want to make sure that we have time to work on this. So I think what I'll do is I'll put us in breakout rooms, but if you have questions and would like to stay in the main group with me and ask me the questions, I'm happy to do that. So I'm going to put in the chat right now a link to this Google form for you to fill out, and I'll open up the breakout rooms in a minute. But if you would like to stay in the main room and ask me questions, please do stay. But if you're ready to jump in and work and start planning how you're going to use these hours, go ahead and do that. And if you would like support with Golden, stay in the main room too, and I'll put you in a breakout room with Michelle. So if you have questions for me or would like Golden support, stay in the main room. But if you're ready to work on planning your volunteer hours, go ahead to your breakout room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Ali, is your vision that for those of us who want to go and look at the Master Gardener volunteer plan, do you envision sitting there filling it out now or just talking about it with each other?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I'd say you're in breakout rooms. So the idea is that you can talk about it with each other. For sure, start filling it out. You don't have to finish it today. But so yeah, start filling it out, talk about it with each other. If you finish it, great. If you don't, you can finish it later. Is that helpful, Rachel?
Yep.
Cool. Great, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up these rooms. So if you're ready to jump into the volunteer plan, go to your breakout room. If you have any questions about volunteering or Golden, stay here with me. And we'll take like 10 minutes to work on this too, 10 minutes.
Allie, can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes, for sure. Yes, Jesse. Here, give me 1 second. I want to make sure if anybody would like to go into a breakout room with Michelle first.
I would, please.
You would, Betsy, perfect. Anybody else like to go in a breakout room with Michelle?
Me, please.
Great. Betsy, Kelly, anybody else?
Allie, I might too. I have a question for you, but I can always email you, but you can include me in the other breakout room.
Okay,
And
great.
And me too, this is Ayanda.
Oh, sorry, who was that?
Ayanda,
Ayanda?
I would also be here.
Perfect. Okay, so Kelly, I'm moving you. Betsy, I'm moving you.
Could I also be in that breakout room?
Yes, Chloe.
Yeah, me too.
Great. Chloe. Sorry, who was the last voice?
That was Megan.
Megan, perfect.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Roya as well, please.
Roya, perfect. Yep.
And Joanna Harvey, please.
And Joanna
And Kylie.
and Kylie, perfect.
Yes, thank you, Allie.
And Michelle, that's breakout room 8. So if you go to the breakout room that's opened for you, the people will be there.
Oh, you know what? I clicked, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I clicked no.
Oh,
So
okay.
how do I get back to it? And also, Allie,
And so did I.
Oh, okay. Here. Oh.
so now
I
it's,
can,
now
I
it's
can-
inviting me to room 7. Is that the room I want?
yeah. So I'm
Okay.
just go to room 7 and then I'll move you to room 8.
Okay. And I can share my screen in that room, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to room 7.
Perfect. Okay. Great. I think, is there any, oh, Roya, I don't think I moved you yet. And then I'll take any question. Wait, where are you? Roya, there you are. Okay.
And Allie, I also made a mistake and said no when you invited me to room 8. So
Oh, no. Okay. So what I'll do is I will, so Michelle, did you get the invite to room 8?
No.
Okay.
I
So
got an invite to room 7 and I said yes.
yes. And then I'm going to move you to room 8. So then you should
Okay.
get another invite to
Okay.
room 8.
Okay. I'm still getting room 7. I'm still seeing room 7. Oh, now I
Yeah.
see room 8. Now I see
Okay,
room
good.
8. Okay. I'm
Okay,
going to
good.
room 8.
Perfect. Okay. Betsy, where are you? So Betsy, I'll do the same thing. I'll move you to room 7, then move you to room 8. Okay, move you to room 7, then move you to room 8. Okay. Great. And I think they're, everybody where they want to be. No, Betsy, you're not in room 8 yet.
Betsy, on the side of my screen, I have the option to join the breakout room of my choice.
Yeah, I tried to
Do you
make
see
that
that?
the case, make that the case too. So Betsy, if you're able to, you should be able to join room 8. Is it like letting you do that?
There's 4 squares and they say join breakout room. At least on my functionality. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Jesse.
No
Perfect.
problem. Didn't want to butt in.
No.
Allie, can I ask you rapid fire a bunch of questions that I know there's no dumb questions, but I think they might be dumb questions.
Yeah. No. For this last part of class, we are going to have an opportunity to put all of this knowledge, all of this information that you've been learning into practice, where you're going to design a garden with some of your other Master Gardener trainees. So the way this will work is I'm going to share with you a shared PowerPoint where you will design a garden with people in a breakout room. So the directions for this are, imagine that the principal at your neighborhood school knew you were a Master Gardener and asked you to design their schoolyard garden. And this is a very, likely scenario. I feel like this will happen a lot as your word gets out that you're a Master Gardener. So your task is to work together with your breakout room to consider all aspects of gardening that we discussed in class and use the breakout room slides, the PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you, to design away. So we'll have time in breakout rooms to work on this, and then we'll come back and share out all your beautiful designs and ideas with the class. So things to include, there's one thing that that's not mentioned here that I want you to include is as a use plan. So think about like how are community members using the garden space, and how can you design for those different uses? Think about specific plants, perennials, annuals, some edibles and non-edibles that you're going to put in your garden. Think about a water management plan, both how are you going to deal with runoff, how are you going to water your plants? Have a plan for what to do with waste in your garden. Think about preventative measures that you can do to deal with pests and pathogens, and have some kind of plan for building and maintaining your soil. So what you'll do, your slides will look like this. It'll say breakout room and a number at the top. So if you're breakout room 1, you'll be on this slide. And on this slide, you will draw your image somehow. You'll use the tools of PowerPoint to show the different pieces that you're putting into place in your garden. And the following slide is you'll write out some of these things that I discussed before. So write out what are some of the different uses of your space. What are some of the plants, water management, waste, preventative measures, and soil. So it's 2 slides that you're working on, your design slide with the image and like information to back up your design. Does this make sense to everybody? Any questions about this?
So I have a question. It looks to me like slide 2 might be the thing to work on first before you do slide 1, correct?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, think through your plan first before you get to the image. But I think some people's minds work differently, and like getting to the drawing is helpful for them. So I'd say if you have a different style, run with it. But if that's useful to start planning first, do that first. I think that's great. Yeah. Any other?
What's the existing condition of the site?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't have that information for you, Kai, but that is brilliant. And you should put that. I mean, I will say that it's a DC public school, so you should think through like how often has like DC land been used, think about that. But you could even write that into your plan too, is to like really interview the people to try to figure out the history of the site. I think great question, Kai.
I was gonna ask Ali, are we assuming that the school has enough budget for materials? Or are we saying like they're gonna buy material? Or
yeah, I'd say go big. Yeah, we've got tons of money for this garden design project.
Right.
So yeah,
like in the Palisades, like
right, full green. Yeah, I'd say go big, and then once we find out the resource constraints, we could navigate that.
Like
Good question.
Georgetown Trust Fund, baby.
I was gonna say, so we should just assume that the soil is decent, or we should or we need to get the soil tested.
Yeah, I would assume that you need to, I think in a city or really anywhere now, you should assume that you need to get the soil tested and need to build it up. I think like a lot of city soil is like landfill from construction projects and things. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about good. I love you're thinking already. What do I need to do for the soil? That's great. Thank you, Marley. Great. Any other questions before we get started? Oh. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put us in breakout rooms. I put the link to the slides in the chat. Make sure to find your breakout room slides. So that we don't accidentally edit somebody else's slides. Make sure you go to your breakout room. And great, I look forward. We'll probably have 10 to 15 minutes to work on this, 15 minutes. So get going. You all got this. Work together, share ideas. I'm so excited to see what you design. See you all soon.